Hello and happy Thursday, everybody. Here's coming up tonight on Now. Talk about the road to redemption. A convicted felon from Maine, been out of prison for a while now, has really turned his life around. We'll tell you all about it.
We're talking about a huge partnership between Dana-Farber and a lot of hospitals in Maine, how this will make it easier to treat cancer.
And pro hockey is coming back to our state in just a little bit. We'll have those details.
This is News Center Now.
People of Maine and New Hampshire have among the highest rates of cancer in the nation. And in Maine, our challenge to treat cancer and cure it is only growing as our population ages.
Nearly a dozen hospitals from Maine to Massachusetts are joining forces to give cancer patients more access to potentially life-saving treatment. Good evening, everyone. I'm Amanda Hill.
And I'm Lee Goldberg. Maine's largest hospital group has received a $10 million grant from the Harold Alfond Foundation. They'll launch a network that will link cancer care at Maine Health's 11-member hospitals and one of the world's leading cancer centers in Boston, the Dana-Farber Cancer Institute. Officials made the announcement at the Maine Medical Center Institute in Scarborough this morning. The 5-year grant will pay for nurse navigators to coordinate patient care in a more timely and local treatment closer to home. The network will also give patients in Maine and New Hampshire more access to clinical trials and other procedures such as bone marrow transplant surgery at Dana-Farber. Cancer survivors say having a larger system of navigators to help patients fight cancer is key to successful outcomes.
You have no idea what you're going to do, where you're going to go, and having resources that they can get to easily now is going to make a world of a difference.
And that grant from the Alfond Foundation will run for 5 years.
Now, according to the Maine Centers for Disease Control, thousands of people in Maine every year are diagnosed with cancer. That means thousands of family members, friends, and coworkers are affected by it. Maine is such a large state, and our population is pretty spread out, so finding the care you need close to home can be a real struggle for patients going through treatment. So this new partnership with the Dana-Farber Institute is designed to tackle that problem. And joining us now is Dr. Scott Remick, Chief of Oncology. Thank you so much for joining us, first of all.
Thank you.
Now, what sort of services are you hoping to offer through this?
We are offering a commitment to coordinated and highly integrated cancer care, where patients can access their local hospital, and it's incumbent upon us to find the right care, the right place, as close to home as possible.
Dr. Remick, we've done so many stories about Mainers battling cancer, and certainly for the patient, it's unimaginable. For the families, though, as well, how can something like this help these families?
Well, it's tremendous. It's a commitment, really, to trying to keep patients as closer to home. Patients want to know two things. They want to know, can you cure my disease? And the second thing they want, can I get treatment close to home? Those are like the two most important things.
If someone is already a patient with Maine Health, are they automatically enrolled?
It's a system-wide effort, so any patient that we're caring for now is part of this network. This has been in evolution for many years. It was conceived in 2013-14. We've been functioning as a network in 2015, and the Alfond grant just provides enormous investment to accelerate the groupness, the networkness, and the care.
When you get multiple hospitals working together and doctors working together from different places, what does that do for the quality of care for the person?
We're going to be we're raising our care to a higher benchmark. We're going to make sure we have the right specialists in the right locations so patients get to those specialists for their care. And then if they can get back to home for other aspects or components of care, that can be done too.
And if somebody is currently in Boston now, maybe getting treatment now, they just heard about this, can they automatically now come back to Maine, or do they stay in Boston? Or?
Well, we want to be careful where they are in their treatment. I mean, and there are going to be certain instances where you don't have bone marrow transplant capability in Maine. So obviously that's a patient that needs to be cared for in Boston. But the idea is to provide seamless transitions of care, particularly when they're needed. That's what our patient navigation system will allow. That's what our investment will allow. We've already done some testing with that, dry runs, before we went live with the announcement that we have gotten patients back and forth to Boston in a very timely manner.
I think this will be huge for a lot of patients and a lot of families. So.
It is huge. It's a significant opportunity for residents of Maine, for all our providers, and especially for our patients.
All right, Doctor. Thank you so much for coming in. Appreciate it. Switching gears after a week of sunshine, some thunderstorms are creeping in here.
Yeah, and somehow, a shocking development. Keith has found a way to get himself towards the water and food. What's going on, man?
Hey guys, yeah, at a Portland Headlight, it's National Lobster Day, so we went over here. They got Bite Into Maine behind us, so we had to take the task of getting one of these lobster rolls, which will only be a display model for a very short period of time before I end up having to eat it. It's a little cool here. Portland Headlight typically is, as we get an onshore flow. Let's take a look at temperatures across the state. You'll see temperatures in the low 60s along the coastline, and we got into the 70s in the mountains, 75 in Berlin right now, so the ocean influence very apparent. I'll tell you though, that ocean buoy coming in at 59, that's pretty good for June. Usually it takes longer than that to get into the upper 50s. Wind speed though, straight off the water, Portland, Rockland, Bar Harbor, so that has knocked temperatures down through the rest of this evening. Visible satellite showing some encroachment of clouds on the western front there and through upstate New York. And if we zoom out, you'll see the showers on their way. Those will move in through the day tomorrow. So what's been an otherwise magnificent work week, unless you really don't like heat, is now going to end with cloudy and showery conditions on Friday. There could be a rumble of thunder in there as well, and a lot of us won't get above, say, 58, 59 degrees through the day on Friday as those showers and storms come on through on Friday night. Things looking up, though, Lee and Amanda, for the weekend. I particularly like the improvement in the Father's Day forecast. I'll walk you through that coming up in just a few minutes.
The parent company, which is Comcast Spectacor, purchased the Alaska Aces ECHL franchise and will relocate the team to the Cross Insurance Arena.
That is right. Professional hockey is coming back to Maine. Representatives from the Cross Insurance Arena in Portland announced today that they've inked a deal to bring an ECHL team here in the fall of 2018. The owners of the franchise, Comcast Spectacor, say that the team will play 36 regular season home games in Portland. Comcast Spectacor does also own the Philadelphia Flyers, but the company spokespeople do not think this ECHL team will include any Flyers prospects. An NHL affiliation has also been mentioned as a possibility, but no connection to any team has been announced yet.
That's an open question. They are, again, looking at all options that are available in terms of affiliations. They certainly would like to have an affiliation with a much more East Coast orientation, just in terms of building fan base. But that's dependent on the discussions that they will be having with the NHL and whatever is available in terms of affiliations.
And the team does not have a name yet, but today at the press conference they said they're hoping that the community will be involved in the naming process. So we are taking your pulse on what you predict the name will be.
Okay, there are two oldies, the classic Portland Pirates or throwback. What is it, Lee?
The Maine Mariners.
But you can also vote for something entirely different. Go to pulse.newscentermaine.com to vote or open the Pulse tab on our mobile apps. Now, the most recent team to play in the Cross Insurance Arena was the Portland Pirates. They left in May of 2016 and became the Springfield Thunderbirds. Before them, it was the Maine Mariners, who played there from 1977 to 92. Many of those former players still live in Maine, including
Stevie Tajura.
Thanks, buddy. A centerman for the Mariners in the 80s. He says it's great to have a pro team coming back to Maine, and he wouldn't mind if they were eventually named the Mariners again.
I think it's a great game, and I think people of Maine have come to love it. I know the youth hockey has grown by leaps and bounds. I just think it's, like I said, it's a win-win. And if it was the Maine Mariners, so be it. That'd be awesome.
When we were live on Facebook about an hour ago, a lot of you chimed in about a new name for the team.
As you would imagine, some very creative suggestions. Let's see, an ISIS flag with, nope, that's definitely not it. How about Portland Old Porters? There's a good one.
We're reading the next story already.
That's okay.
Portland Hipsters.
Also a good one.
Also a good one, yep.
The Portland Light Keepers. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's going to have Maine, though, as a title instead of Portland.
Yeah,
but we'll see.
Yeah, let's get Portland out of the
Portland
title.
Phantoms.
Yeah.
These are all good. I'm still going with Maine Mariners. Sorry.
Right.
I mean, I'm old enough to
you've got the jersey.
have walked through that door in 1977 when the building opened to watch the Maine Mariners play as a child. So
yeah,
I'd like to see them come back.
We'll throw back.
You know, I have the jersey already, so I don't have to buy one.
Fair enough.
So win-win.
Fair enough.
We'll see. All right. Okay, like I was saying, an ISIS flag was found flying over a town in New Hampshire. The community is shocked. That is coming up next on Now.
Plus, teenagers seem to be smartening up. More are staying away from tobacco products. Hear the latest report from the CDC.
The New Hampshire community is in shock tonight after an Islamic State flag is found hanging in the downtown area. Katie Ortiz here with your social stop. The pictures are quickly spreading online. The flag was found at the Suncook River Dam in downtown Pittsfield Monday, according to the Pittsfield Firefighters Association. In a Facebook post, they're asking people who may have seen this go up to call police, but the union leader in New Hampshire reports police have identified a person of interest and that they're working with state and federal authorities. The police chief told the paper, though, while it is concerning, there is no immediate threat to the community. Now, two similar incidents happened last week in Manchester. Hey there, Jeff. Police wrote on Facebook they found spray-painted words mentioning ISIS and America on both a public and private building. That is also under investigation. Lee and Amanda.
All right, Katie, thank you very much. Still to come on Now, a story about resilience and a brand new start. We'll meet a man who struggled with addiction, but after recovery went on to work for President Obama, and he's here to cross a major milestone tomorrow. He'll be in our studio live after the break.
And the sunny streak may be over tomorrow, just in time for us to hit the road. Keith's full forecast is next.
It was a long road in to drug addiction, and it was a long road out.
We hear a lot about people who make mistakes in life being given a second chance. Christopher Poulos would be exhibit A of that principle, and his long and winding road is about to have a real happy ending. Chris joins us now with his attorney, Stephen Schwartz, and thank you both for being here. That clip that we just showed was from about a year ago when we first caught up with you. For the viewers who didn't see that story, give us a Cliff Notes version of how you got yourself into trouble in the first place.
Sure. So I think starting as a pre-teenager, and certainly by the time that I was a teenager, I seemed to always want to do whatever I wasn't supposed to do. And I also didn't feel comfortable in my own skin. So I didn't feel comfortable talking to girls, I didn't feel comfortable in social situations. And then I discovered alcohol and drugs, and they eased my pain for a number of years. And that worked effectively for a while. I eventually began to sell drugs to support my own habit, and ended up ultimately in serious trouble with the law.
So you're in federal prison now. We fast forward, not right this second, but in this story, okay?
Thankfully.
And yeah, and you have a, and at that point you have to make a decision. I'm either gonna, turn this thing around, and that's a reality check, if you will, or that's gonna be your life. What made you go left instead of right?
What was essential was that I actually found recovery before I got incarcerated. So I was already in a peer-to-peer recovery program. I had been through treatment. I had access to treatment. And then I carried that along with me into prison. And then I decided while I was there that I would continue down that path no matter what happened or what didn't happen in my life, and that no matter what, alcohol and drugs were no longer an option. And President Obama's speech when he was elected in November 2008 had a huge impact on me as well.
And you ended up becoming a White House intern. I mean, from a felon to an intern at the White House. I mean, how did that happen?
That's a long story. Cliff Notes version, I met Michael Botticelli, who is the Director of National Drug Control Policy, on the front steps of City Hall, and knew that this was a moment of my life that could define my future. And I told him, he spoke openly about his past. He's a person in long-term recovery. He's been to jail. He's an openly gay married man, and he just doesn't speak about any of that with shame. He speaks about it with pride and confidence. And I had never heard someone speak openly about those things before. So I met him and I told him about my story, and I told him I'd love to come to Washington someday. I had no idea what I was asking for, but a year later I got a call from the Secret Service after a long process congratulating me because I was in and to report to duty for the president.
And now we fast forward to today, and Stephen, Chris, gets in touch with you and says, I want to be an attorney. I want to be an attorney in Maine. And you helped him with that process, and I'm sure it's a long process. What's the quickest way to tell me about that?
Well, again, the Cliff Notes version. There's a character and fitness hearing that takes place in a situation such as Chris's. We had about 27 witnesses who came in either in testimony or with letters and affidavits, including Senator King. Senator Dion was a live witness, Deb Duffett, his teacher from high school. Really so many people from the highest echelons of society to those who he has helped and who have helped him as well in recovery. And we had the fellow from the White House that he worked with came up as well. And really, it's a hearing in which people talk about the generally good character of Chris. The deans of the law school all either spoke or wrote on his behalf, and he really has broad-based support.
And there's going to be a ceremony, excuse me, tomorrow to officially welcome you to the bar. What will that be like for you?
It's going to be the culmination of a dream that I've had since I was a child. My grandfather was an attorney. My mom was a single mom, and my grandfather largely stepped in as the father figure in my life, and he was an attorney, and I used to go through his cases, and I was fascinated by the stories. I didn't understand all the legal aspects necessarily, but I understood the stories, and they fascinated me. And then I got sick, so I was diverted from my dream, from my own passion and my path for a decade. And then once I found recovery, I was able to return to my passion. So this will be the full circle moment of that. And right now I'm directing a treatment center down in Texas for young people who are battling addiction. Hopefully they can avoid prison like me and get some help.
All right, we've got to go. So congratulations to you.
It's going to be a happy day.
It's going to be a great day tomorrow for you guys both. Thank you for your time,
Awesome.
Amanda.
Thank you.
Thanks, Lee. Earlier in the show, we talked about treating cancer. While there's still a lot of mystery surrounding what causes certain types of cancer, some may be preventable. Scientists and doctors have proven that tobacco products do cause cancer, and after years of spreading the word about the health risks, doctors say they're seeing a significant decline in teen tobacco use. NBC's Erica Edwards reports.
There's both good news and bad news from the CDC on youth smoking. The good? Tobacco use is down from 4.7 million middle and high school students in 2015 to 3.9 million last year. The bad news is that 3.9 million kids are still smoking.
The bottom line is that youth use of tobacco products in any form is unsafe.
That includes electronic cigarettes, and teenagers appear to be getting the message. For the first time, the CDC shows a drop in youth e-cigarette use.
The e-cigarette rate among young people took the escalator up. It's probably going to take the elevator down, but at least it's going in the right direction, and that's really important.
E-cigarettes contain nicotine, an addictive substance that can affect the developing teenage brain. Public health officials attribute the overall decline in tobacco to higher prices, access restrictions, and laws prohibiting its use in certain areas.
We know what works to effectively reduce tobacco use among youth, and we've implemented those strategies over many years, and we've seen continued declines over many years.
What's yet to be seen is whether last year's drop in e-cigarettes was an anomaly. For now, public health officials call it a win. Erica Edwards, NBC News.
Okay, what do Maine's ski mountains do when the snow melts?
Well, we have the infrastructure year-round. We have base lodges, we have hotels, we have this beautiful backdrop of a mountain. So really for us, it's like, how do we make the most of that?
We went to find out. Places like Sunday River open an adventure park, zip lines and bungee bouncing, mountain biking for even the inexperienced, because these bikes come with motors. Of course, plenty of conferences and weddings, but this year they also have a few major festivals and pretty big events.
Is that you on that?
That's me.
Okay, we're going to look at the economic impact having these resorts open year-round has on the local businesses as we'll hit the road tomorrow. The Now team will be live from Shawnee Peak at 5 o'clock tomorrow night.
You had a tough one today, too,
You
out
did
on the
mountains,
water.
I did the water. We'll show you how that worked out tomorrow night.
So I guess it's okay that Keith is eating a lobster roll in front of us, even though he's bringing us rain tomorrow.
Yeah, sorry, I was also making dog friends here, so this is a tough job. Somebody's got to do it. You know, you got to stand out here, got to eat some lobster. By the way, this lobster roll, I'm kind of impressed by my self-restraint. We've only got about a third of the way down, but I don't think it's going to last too much longer. Beautiful day out here. You'll notice that I did put on some actual clothing because we have quite a sea breeze. Let's have a look at the temperatures. In the 60s along the coastline. It is much warmer, though, across the interior where that breeze is not a factor. 75 in Berlin right now, 70 in Freiburg. So even though the ocean temperature is 59, which isn't bad for this time of the year, it's making its presence felt along the immediate coastline with a south wind in most locations, south, south, southwest, all of that right off the water for most of Maine. All right, so here's what's going on the visible satellite. Some clouds encroaching across upstate New York and in through Vermont. That's in advance of our storm system that's moving in tomorrow. Good news is it's not a washout on Friday, but it definitely will be the cloudiest day with the most showers around of the work week and really into the weekend for that matter. So clouds move in tonight. Some showers start tomorrow morning in the mountains and into the foothills particularly. We might get a little break in the middle part of the day before we see another round of showers and maybe a rumble of thunder come through in the afternoon and early evening. That will continue into Saturday morning, but I think Saturday improves rapidly by the afternoon. So the first half of the day is not good, it's showery, but then late in the day on Saturday we start to get some sunshine. And it sets us up for what I think will be a nice Father's Day, partly sunny conditions and sneaky warm on a strong southwest wind. We could see temperatures getting into the 80s relatively quickly. So your chances of showers, definitely tomorrow, first half of Saturday, looking good on Sunday, and then a squall line could move through on Monday. We'll have to keep an eye on that. The humidity is going to increase in a very big way Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. With temperatures in the low 80s and upper 70s, it doesn't seem that bad. However, the dew points could be right around the upper 60s or low 70s, which is very high on the New England threshold of humidity go. So it'll be a very summer-like pattern as we head into next week. But guys, overall not a bad pattern, and I like that Father's Day, the forecast has kind of gradually improved as we've gotten a little bit closer to the actual day.
All right, I like that too.
There's that.
So, all right, we're back with more now after this.
All right, in today's Brain Drop, something that's very pertinent on such a sunny day, scientists may have developed a way for us to have a tan and have it be safe, not necessary to be in the sunshine, and also not a fake tan. This actually happened right down the road in Massachusetts at Mass General Hospital. They developed what looks like a topical treatment that stimulates the production of melanin in the body. Melanin is what darkens your skin. It appears as though this is going to darken people's skin, offer some protection from the sun without damaging the skin. This could be really huge because a lot of people obviously want the look of a suntan, but skin cancer is a big problem in the United States. So this is a worthwhile endeavor, not just from the standpoint of looking good, but also from preventing cancer. Guys, it could be something. No more spray tan for me. That'll be the day.
All right, that would be nice. All right, 46% Maine Mariners, 50% something new for our voting, and that will continue on. So thanks for being a part of that.
Continue to vote through the shows. Yeah, News Center at 5:30 starts right now.